What is going on, guys? Drew Kirchhoff here, and today I'm going to be going over 4 rules slash guidelines that you should implement if you want to be a top natty. Now, before we talk about what exactly a top natty is, we have to discuss, what it takes to be a top natty. Now, a lot of people do choose the easy route. I wouldn't say a lot of people, but a lot of people that you see, they take the easy route, and which is fine. Everybody can do their own things, but if you are willing to have a long, slow and steady progression in the sport or in the industry, it is best to stay a natural lifter. And being a top natty, I would argue, is one of the hardest things to do. I'd say other than being a professional bodybuilder who's taking enhancements, because that is extremely hard. If you are professional and you are consistent and you have what it takes to win, that is probably the hardest. But being a top natty, it's a rare breed. And a top natty, which I'm going to be, I don't know why that door was so loud. A top natty is basically this whole idea that I'm going to be pushing into the fitness industry, whether it likes it or not. And a top natty is just someone who is a natural lifter, who is just at the peak of lifting as a natural lifter. And anyone can be a top natty. Anybody, everybody, and anybody can be a top natty. You basically just have to be insanely impressive as a natural lifter, which is hard. And I'm going to go over the 4 things and what it takes to be a top natty. I don't know why my mechanical pencil broke, but it broke. So number 1 on the list we have is patience. If you want to be a top natty, you cannot be a top natty if you are not patient. If you want results and you want them fast and you let your ambition get the best of you, you will never make it. You will not make it as a top natty. You will quit. You will cry like a little baby, or you'll go straight to the drugs. One or the other. So, number 1, to be a top natty, you have to be patient. You have to put years, time, and dedication, days every single day of the week, weeks every single time of the month, months throughout the whole entire year, multiple years to be a top natty. It takes time, dedication, consistency, hard work. And you can't just have all that without a direction. You also need direction, a plan, what type of niche you want to dive into. This is actually so aggravating that this mechanical pencil broke. But you have to be patient and understand that the sport of lifting, or just lifting weights in general, or even the sport of bodybuilding or powerlifting, it's a long sport. If you want to blow up within the next couple years or within the next couple months, you are in the wrong sport. You're playing the wrong game, especially if you're going the natural route. Now, the natural route in the end will always win. That's why being a top natty is so rewarding. Am I a top natty? I would say I am on my way. I've got so many years under my belt that I'm going to put under my belt. So I know that as long as a meteor doesn't fall on my house tomorrow, I will be a top natty, if I'm not already a top natty for my age. So, number 1, I would say, is be patient. The results take lots and lots of time. Tip number 2 that I would say is comparison. As a top natty, this kind of goes with the first tip, but you cannot compare your physique to other people's physiques all the time, because other people are not going to be top natties. Other people are going to fall into the other routes. They can be taking things, or they've had many years under their belt. And if you let that jealousy get to you in a negative way, then you're not going to have what it takes. You're either going to give up, you're either going to choose the easy route because you're not getting the results that you like, because you're comparing your physique to somebody else's physique who's had more time, more experience, or more drugs, and it's just a negative feedback loop. So that's tip number 2, is you have to stop comparing. Instead of comparing your physique to somebody else's physique, which I honestly do that, but when I do it, it motivates me. If you do it and it does not motivate you, you should not be doing it. Instead, A simple fix is to compare your physique to how it was 2 months ago, or how it was not 2 weeks, more than 2 months ago. If you compare your physique to how it was 2 weeks ago, that is kind of a different story. That you shouldn't be doing. You should kind of stick to a month to month basis when you're comparing your physique and seeing improvements. So I'm not saying you shouldn't compare, because you should compare. But if you're comparing your physique to somebody else's and it's demotivating you and it's making your progress and making your journey worse, and it's making your chances of becoming a top natty in the future, or slowing the progression of you becoming considered a top natty, then you need to start comparing your physique to how it was weeks ago. See, I do both. And when I mean weeks, I mean more than 2 weeks. I mean like months to even like half a year. Because remember, as if you are a natural, these changes take a lot of time. Like you have to put in a lot of work, a lot of hours, a lot of reps in order to make the body change, if you're not adding additional hormones like other lifters could be. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 2 is know when to compare, or just to stop comparing your physique to others in general. Instead, compare your physique to your own physique, how it was, to see if you're making progress. Next tip that I would say in order to be a top natty is to post as much as possible and get as many pictures, videos, comparison, progress pics as possible. Because if you are trying to go the top natty route, and if you want to make the money in the sport or in the industry, you're going to have a very, very impressive physique. In order to have an impressive physique, you need to slowly get better over time. So taking progress pics and becoming more comfortable with a camera on you, and being more comfortable talking to a camera, being more comfortable taking shots and learning the best angles and the best lighting, that is going to help you. So never neglect taking photos or videos or any of that of you in the gym or at home. You need to get comfortable doing that, because more than likely, if you're going to be a top natty and you're not wanting to be a professional bodybuilder or professional power lifter, and you want to make money, you're probably going to have to go the influencer route. So, and that's kind of what a top natty is. You know, they've got all the eyes on them. They're promoting fitness. They look great. They look amazing. And if they're really doing it right, they're not taking any enhancements and being a fraud. So, tip number 1, be patient. Tip number 2, stop comparing. Tip number 3 is post as much and get as much footage as you possibly can. And then tip number 4, to be a top natty, which is the last tip, is to stay indulged in fitness as much as possible. If you really want to be a top natty, you pretty much have to make it your life. You need to watch as much fitness content as possible. You need to always be reading about fitness. You need to understand what works, what doesn't, and you need to actually understand the correct information about training, nutrition, sleeping, recovery. You need to be at the top of the line. And if you're a top natty, if you want to be considered a top natty, you are not promoting bullcrap information on the internet. You're not talking about the benefits of keto diet or fasting for 12 hours or dumbbell lat pull downs, or no nonsense. If you do any of that, you are not a top natty. You are a fraud. To be a top natty, you know the information and you will speak the information if you are asked. To be a top natty, you understand, you know the matrix. You track your calories. You understand that if you eat a meal with 60 grams of carbs, 30 grams of fat, and 5 grams of protein that your mom made last night, that's not optimal. So in order to be a top natty, to be looked at, to be admired for the long term, because that's what will benefit you as being a natural lifter, you have to be on point with your fitness. How do you be on point with your fitness? You make it your life. You make it a whole new lifestyle. And if this all sounds overwhelming to you, then you know that it's kind of supposed to be. Not everybody's supposed to be a top natty. I would argue the top natty is the hardest breed to find. It's a dying breed. And being a top natty is hard. I'm not going to say that I am fully a top natty, because, you know, I'm only 20. But I'd say for 20, I look pretty good for a natural who's only been taking this serious for about 2-3 years now. Before, I was dealing with soccer, track, hours and hours on school, working. I was playing tons of video games. Like, I had a lot of stuff going on, cross country. Like, I had other stuff going on. I wasn't, like, the gym was just kind of something I did. Now, it's my everything. I love it. I love it. I can talk about fitness all day. I can watch fitness all day. I can watch bodybuilding and powerlifting all day. I can read about it. If it was consisted of my whole day for like 5 days straight, I would not get tired of it. You know, I can go to the gym and train every day. I love training every day. Like, today was actually a rest day for me. Today is a rest day. The day I'm recording this is a rest day. And every single hour of this rest day, I've thought about, should I go to the gym today? I kind of feel good. I want to go to the gym today. But I told myself, hey, my body needs a rest day today. So those are the 4 tips, the 4 guidelines, the 4 pillars, the 4 main things that I would implement in your life if you are trying to become a top natty. You need to be patient and realize that results are going to take forever. If you, like, for instance, I'm in the process of trying to blow up. I'm in the process of trying to get views, trying to get traction, trying to get sponsorships, trying to get my name out there. I realize that I could be doing this for 2 years and I still won't be where I want to be. I still won't be anywhere near I want to be, but I'm fine with that. You know, I'm currently 1 foot in, 1 foot out right now because I have other stuff going on in life. But you have to understand that it takes a lot of time and patience. And then back to that tip number 2, you have to know when it's okay to compare yourself, and you need to use it as motivation and not to demotivate yourself and put yourself down. Tip number 3 goes back to taking as much progress as possible, as much progress photos, looking back at the progress, seeing where you started, because that's going to help build your character. And then tip number 4 is you need to be all about fitness. You're not going to be a top natty if you contemplate and you went to the gym 2 days in a row and you're tired and you don't even want to go on the 3rd day. You're not going to be a top natty. Somebody who's a top natty, it's harder for them to not train than for them to train because they just love training so much. It's hard for them to eat a meal that consists of 60 grams of carbs, 20 grams of fat, and 4 grams of protein. When they look at that, they're almost disgusted. It is hard for a top natty to go 2 nights in a row with 4 hours of sleep. If that does not bug you, then you do not have what it takes to be a top natty currently. If you want to be a top natty, tip number 4, you need to be all and everything about fitness. It pretty much has to be your life. So that's my whole spill. I'm out of here. I'm bringing top natties back. I know it may seem overwhelming. I'm passionate about it, but I'm really tired of gear, SARMs. I'm tired of peptides. I'm tired of that whole thing saturating the fitness industry. That's all that blows up. Top natties are dying. And when I mean top natties, I don't mean fake natties or SARM goblins. I mean real, natural lifters who value their health and want to do this long term, because in the end, we are going to win. Us, top natties, we are going to win in the end. So that's my whole spill on that. You do have everything you need to be a top natty. If you love fitness, you can do it. You just have to be willing to put in the work, the time, dedication, and stay patient. That's it for the video. I know it's a whole rant, but people were always asking me, Drew, what is a top natty? Why do you keep putting top natty in your description? And that's it. But I'm going to be promoting this like crazy because it's something I'm passionate about, and I'm going to be doing this for a long time. And I know that I'm going to win. We're going to win. Top natties. It's just a waiting game. And I'm out of here.